Ich bin deine Pussycat. Kiss mich, kleiner Tiger.
Meow. Howdy, y'all. This is Claire, and tonight I have a bit of a sore jaw, so I'm going to be talking a little quieter than usual. But I want to address something. If any of y'all knew me from before I became a Friday Night Funkin' hater, already addressed before, y'all would have known that I was going to be a VTuber before my Friday Night Funkin' hater began, you know? However, in this video, I want to describe why I became a VTuber, or wanted to become one, and why I stopped, why I quit the community. I think it would be a little bit of an interesting little lore drop, so I'll be explaining in this video. Meow. Well, let's begin at the very start. In 2017, when Kazuna Eye came around, this is when I first found out about VTubers. I was about 13 years old at the time, and since they were only a Japanese thing at the moment, I didn't really have much access to them. That is, until 2019 came around. I started seeing them more and more when I was 15, and I asked my mother if I could be one. She said no, because she did not want me living in a fantasy world. Back in the day, I was very frustrated, but nowadays I understand why she said that. However, once I turned 18 and I moved out of the house to college, I started wanting to be a VTuber again, mostly to promote my acting, singing, and dancing work. Mostly my acting and singing, of course, as you can't really see a dancer online. However, this came with more challenges than I expected. While I was peaking in my first year of college, I have to say that I didn't really know what was to come for me when it came to VTubing. I joined several servers, I talked to all my friends about my VTubing aspirations, I bought a lot of software for it, and I prepared to my darndest, preparing to debut in the July of that year, 2023, right after my first year of college would have been completed. Which it was, and was completed well, and I was very excited, until I came across the obstacles on the way that I didn't expect. Meow. Even in the early days of my VTubing attempts, I realized that something was very wrong. First off, the ages. As I mentioned before, I was first interested in becoming a VTuber when I was 15 years old, and that was the age of most of the people in the servers I was in. They were all about 13 to 15 years old, mostly around the ages of 14, and it was a rather uncomfortable experience for me. While I don't mind having minor mutuals, I'm more uncomfortable with the fact that I would be working with people much younger than me. Keep in mind I was 18 years old at this time, and I did not really feel comfortable in the setting or with the people I was with. Now, as for that, to build off on this, I was visibly old, like you could hear it in my voice auditorily. I had a deep southern accent, as you can tell right now, and even when I covered it up it wasn't convincing, while the rest of them had very high-pitched voices on natural level, very youthful, stuff that you could recognize and say, yeah, that's a kid. It wasn't very comfortable because I knew I wouldn't really fit in, along with the fact that I was the only Jewish person in the area, or well, in the area of the field. You can't really look up VTubers and think Jewish, if you know what I mean. You'll mostly see East Asian VTubers and white VTubers, white Americans specifically. Overall, I just felt really out of place in the community, though I continued pursuing it as my friends at the time said that they would watch and support my streams. However, once I got canceled by the Friday Night Funk community, I pretty much lost that audience. Pretty much all my friends left me, and after my cancellation in June 2023, I deleted the model, I deleted all the assets, I uninstalled OBS and VTube Studio, and I officially quit all the servers I was in while leaving the VTuber community. I knew I couldn't come back after Friday Night Funkin' fans canceled me, and because of that, I didn't even attempt to come back. Once I did briefly, and I'd say August, September, maybe October, but I instantly got chased off once again from Friday Night Funkin' fans. Needless to say, VTubing is not the field for me. Meow. One thing I have to admit is sometimes I feel a little sad. You know, I think of what could have been if I would have gotten fans if my streams had been good, if I hadn't been cancelled that one summer. But, looking back on it, it's pretty obvious that it was a good thing. Why? Considering the fact that I already wasn't anonymous, which is a must for VTubers, and the fact that I did not have any of the qualifications, being too old, being too deep-pitched of a voice, not being, your typical East Asian or white girl doing it, it was pretty obvious I would have flopped. I personally don't like watching VTuber streams as it makes me a little uncomfortable, especially for everything that happened. But there's nothing saying I can't find success in the future, which I did actually. I've been finding success in my commentary videos and my covers and everything else I enjoy doing. There's just some things you can't do, and then you can, move on from them. And it's alright. You can do what you need and you can do what you want, and it's not going to change anything as long as you make a new self for yourself. That being said, keep in mind of the fact that not everything is worth it. After I got canceled by Friday Night Funkin' community and I decided to consider coming back, I realized that it wasn't worth it in the end. I knew I'd still behave by the Friday Night Funkin' community no matter what I did, and no matter what kind of things I tried to do to redeem myself, I wouldn't be forgiven. With VTubers, you have to have a squeaky clean reputation, especially in order to go on to a business, which I did not have after that entire incident, so I didn't really have any choice but to just quit. After quitting, though, I'll say it was definitely the right choice of me. And I found what I've always been looking for, a thing I always wanted to do, and I'm glad of it. All of you, you should find your own paths as well.